In 2022, I spent pretty much all year replacing my first floor. I didn't make much of a video then, but I'm gonna make it for you now. I didn't take very many videos at the time, but I did take some pictures, and I will show you what I can to best describe the process that I took. This all started in 2014. When we first moved into this house, we had a little half wall or pony wall, and I promised that that thing was gonna get out of here. Now, the one problem with this wall is that it has an air vent in it, and this air vent needs to go somewhere else if I'm going to take the wall out. And so that was the first step, to move this air vent somewhere else. This is the vent from below in the basement, and the ductwork runs through here. So I removed that, and you can look up and see the vent right through there. And so I removed some more and got a camera up in here, and you can see it's quite dirty. There's some junk in there. Some of the previous residents had dropped in accidentally. Maybe they had kids who dropped it in. But there's surprisingly this small hole that's much smaller than the vent would have allowed. So even though the vent's pretty big upstairs, this hole through here really limits the flow area. And then it connects from there into ductwork a little further back. And look at all the goodies that we found hidden up in there. Some Pokemon cards, some forks, a Lego piece. There was another vent area right next to where I wanted this to be moved to, and it had a cutout on top of the vent, which is shown here, and so I made another one identical right next to it. And then this is showing where I started to cut out to have the duct flow head up through the wall. So this is the final thing. The first one here is the one that already existed, and this one back here is the new one that I put in, both just branching off of this duct up here. And right up here is where the vent finally ended up. With the vent moved, it was now time to take down the half wall.
Come on through.
And with that, the half wall was gone. We tried out some samples of the flooring and then bought a huge stack of it. The empty boxes became a favorite plaything. I started by pulling up the carpet in the family room, but to do that I first took off the baseboards around the entire outside edge of the room. I laid down some orange underlayment to dampen sound between the new floor and the underfloor. The kitchen was particularly challenging because there was thin wood called luan that was underneath all of the vinyl, and it was stapled down with about 100 staples per piece. I started by trying to pull all the staples, but in the end I switched to smashing them down into the subfloor with a hammer. I continued into the dining room, and then long strips across the entire house. The kids were helpful. When I had to move a large piece of furniture to do the work, I'd try to move it, get the work done, and get the furniture back all in one day, one setting. The bathroom was one of the more challenging places in that aspect, and having to fully lift out the toilet and put it back in place. And here's Elijah showing where I put in the last piece of flooring. You can see I put in some molding around the fireplace, and I also did this around the doors. I also painted all the baseboards before I put them back in, and caulked around the edges to make them transition smoothly into the wall. To cover the gaps between the flooring and the cabinets, I put quarter rounds at the edges of all the cabinets, and I left them white with anticipation of a future project. And here's the finished floor, all lived in. Kitchen done. And then here. Oh yeah, we're living in it, we're having fun. Say hi, kids. Hi. That floor's done. In the office, we're done. Here's Catherine, and the whole floor is done everywhere throughout. And this is a good project that we are glad to be finished with. All right, say bye. Bye.